Mishnah Gimel states, Hichne shor lachatzer balabayas shlo b'rshus. So your ox goes into somebody else's yard without permission, and gacho shor shel balabayas, and then goes ahead and gores the ox of the owner. Oshen neshacho kalbo shel balabayas. I'm sorry, the other way around. The ox of the guy who has the courtyard gores your ox that you allowed to go into his yard. Oshen neshacho kalbo shel balabayas, or the dog, the attack dog, watchdog of the guy attacked your ox that you allowed to go into the yard. So patur. So the Baal Bayis, the guy is exempt. What's your ox doing in his yard? Nagachu shor shel Baal Bayis. Now, if his ox gores the ox or dog or something that belongs to the owner, so then chayav. So then the guy is responsible for bringing his ox into somebody else's yard and causing damage. So that depends. According to, if it's a tam, we assume it's chati nezek, muad nezek shalom. Only Rabbi Tarfon we mentioned back in the second parak. Rabbi Tarfon holds that if you're in the reshus hanizak, that if you're in somebody else's property, then you pay full damages no matter what.
Really?
Yeah.
Is there any significance to the fact that it starts with Yifnis, that this guy took his ox into the property of the other, as opposed to, why is that significant? The ox could have wandered in there by himself. Would it be the same?
Yeah, it would be the same thing. Yeah.
He's in the Rishut Hanizak. Yeah, he has a duty.
Yeah, I mean, I guess, he has to watch his animal, even if the other guy doesn't, even if the other guy's yard is not particularly protected, it's just sort of open or whatever, and he assumes that, but you got to watch your ox when it's out in public area.
That's what the causes of action are, so if that's a cause of action, we have to watch it.
Right. Haya'avo b'no l'socho. Now, if I'm sorry, nafal laboro v'hivish meimav chayav. If the ox falls into his pit, meaning into his well, and messes up the water, so the water's no good now because the dirty ox has been wandering around in the water. So then chayav. So then he has to pay for that as well, for causing that damage. Haya'aviv b'no l'socho. If his father or his son were inside the well and the animal falls in them, mishalim is a kofer, then he has to pay the ransom, has to pay the value for killing the people that were in there. Vim hichnes b'reshus. Now, if he came in with permission, right, that he allowed him to come into the yard, so then bal chatzer chayav. So then the owner is chayav. In fact, if his dog attacks or his ox attacks him, he said, well, you let me in, you told I could come in with my ox, and therefore I had to assume that it was okay, that you were going to watch things. Rebbe says bekulan ein chayav ad shikabo alav lishmor. So in all these cases he's not chayav, meaning the Baal Bayis is not chayav if something happens to your ox, unless he says I'm going to guard it, meaning the fact that he just allows him to enter does not mean that he's going to watch out for the guy's ox. However, it does mean that he's exempt. I mean, the guy who brought the thing in is exempt for any damage that it causes, because he said, you're allowed. They're both patur, basically. Meaning the Rebbe says that just because you accept the guy to walk in, you have to say, yeah, and I'm going to make sure your ox doesn't get damaged. But in either case, both of them would be exempt.